And until you heard that second squelch, nobody can talk to me because it's talking to me. So if you bring up the other repeater, I won't hear it. So I'll key it again. This is K6HEW. Now try.
You hear the
You have to wait. Everybody has to wait until that second tail end comes in before you can start transmitting. You want to try?
yeah.
I see this is a half watt, and you see what sort of an antenna I've got on here.
He's talking from there
It's
to
going.
the FT8800 in here. The FT8800 in here, while it's listening to him, is simultaneously transmitting on our repeater frequency, and it's going up to the hill. So now, with this little radio, he can talk to someone in Concord, in Orinda, if they can access our repeater back, just running a half a watt. Because he's not really talking to them, he's talking to this radio, and this radio is running 35 or 50 watts.
And I'm talking on a frequency of 144.33 right now.
And I'm going to transmit on 442.750. I'm just going to talk to our repeater, and inside the steel building it might be scratchy, but 6 a.m. testing 1 2 3 4 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
And now if I try talking, I can't hear anything. Because I didn't wait for it to drop out.
1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4.
And now I can reply to it, but I have to wait until everything drops back out.
Does everybody hear that second squelch? You've got the bloop, then the squelch drops, and then there's another.
You hear a click, click,
Yeah, one went down the second one.
and you have to wait till the second one.
So if they're using a crossband repeater or a crossband extender, you need to wait longer than you normally would to reply. If you try to reply, back and forth quickly before, sometimes we reply before we hear that, okay?
And I can't do anything. I can't do anything until it all drops out.
So there's usually about a 3-4 second pause. When you hear double squelches, sometimes you'll even hear 3 squelches. Wait until you hear the last squelch, wait a little longer, make sure there isn't anything else, and then you can start to transmit. I'm going to turn my volume up. You transmit to this machine.
Okay, this is K6HEW, and you can hear me talking now.
I'm listening to the repeater, not to what he's transmitting on.
Okay.
Okay, you heard there was a squelch before the beep tone. Do it again.
Okay. Now okay. Now you want me to stop? Stop.
Did you hear it? It's that initial squelch tone is this radio dropping out, and then we're waiting for the repeater to drop out. Okay, so it depends on whether you're going in on the simplex channel or going in via the repeater as to whether the squelch burst, the extra squelch burst is before the beep tone or after the beep tone?
And we have to wait. Okay? I could go through that whole process. I don't know whether you want to see that other slideshow or not.
Let's talk about how we would use this in actual, how we in Benicia have in fact used this and can use this. We talked earlier during the business part of the meeting about our Go Kits. There's 3 of them sitting in this room over here. Ham radio stations on wheels that we can deploy anywhere. If we're called upon to provide local communications for the fire department, for the police department, for the water department, for whatever, because of some emergency that happened, some disaster that happened, they have no radio system. Well, we can talk on Simplex, we can talk downtown. The people that live off of Rose Drive, they could talk to themselves, but to talk from Rose Drive to here with no repeaters doesn't work. We can take one of those Go Kits, or a number of Go Kits. We can take the Go Kit, put it up on a hilltop anywhere. We have 100 ampere hour batteries. We have solar panels. And we can put that Go Kit in the cross-band repeat mode. That means anybody that is in Simplex range around the perimeter of the city, they can see that hilltop, they can talk to that hilltop, and we can set another radio, one of these radios over here, listening to the second frequency that we've set up in the Go Kit, one to go in on and one to come out on, and we can now relay information anywhere here into the EOC. If our repeaters are working and theirs aren't, we can use one of the 2 frequencies we selected for our crossband repeat, make it one of our repeaters. We can have two repeaters. We can have 2 crossband systems, one in one part of town, one in another part of town. But the name of the game is we can deploy these things and have them act like a repeater anywhere in town if we needed it. And we've used it for that. We've had drills where we have set up a crossband repeater somewhere in the downtown area and deploy people throughout the city, and it worked absolutely fine.
And I'll give you another example that I ran into. I do work with the Red Cross, and I was at a fire up in eastern Washington this last summer. And the town we were in, our headquarters, well, it wasn't our headquarters, we had a shelter that was in a middle school. And the middle school did not have cell phone coverage. Well, it sort of had cell phone coverage. If you had Verizon, the phone would ring when you were in there, and if you got outside in time, you could usually answer the call, but that was about it. You actually had to go outside and up a little hill, and you could talk to the people on your cell phone. If you had AT&T, you just had to get outside and you could talk to people on the cell phone. And the cell phones weren't all that good because the cell phone sites got burned. So they had to put extras up there. So we needed a method to talk from inside the shelter back to headquarters, which was in Wenatchee, about 60 miles away, and we used an amateur radio repeater for that. The only way we could do that was outside. We could not do it from we couldn't set up any infrastructure inside the school at all. And so they set up somebody had a normal, regular amateur radio out in their car, and if they wanted to talk to headquarters, they had to go out to the car and talk to headquarters and then go back inside, or they had to go out and check. The second day we were there, we got, from Seattle, we got a similar thing to the Go Box that had a crossband repeater. And with that, it had a nice battery. We could set it up outside and it could talk to the repeater. And then the guy inside could use the handheld to actually talk back to headquarters, to make it a whole lot easier. So it's just another way to use it. And I say I use it all the time on bicycle rides, to do all three things: a battery extender, a range extender, and a space extender. Some of the bicycle rides that I've supported, I'll be at the rest areas, and then it's strictly as a battery extender. You can carry this around. And I found, by the way, people like to hear it. The guy that's driving the SAG vehicle likes to have it here. He doesn't want earphones because he likes to hear the other traffic that's going on. And the people at the rest station, they like to hear, oh, okay, that's where this guy is, that's where that guy is. So I used to, and I still got, a lot of times if you're in a very noisy location, you need something up close to your ear just because of all the noise that's around. But the participants in it like to hear what's going on too.
Let me give you another actual scenario. And Larry and Terry probably have encountered this because they do a lot of public service work in Contra Costa. But let's say you volunteer to be communications at some public service event, whether it's a fundraiser, a walkathon, a bikeathon, or a trail ride, or a situation where they have rest stops. And you've been blessed with, you're going to be deployed to rest stop number 4. Okay, so now you drive your car the 20 or 30 miles to rest stop number 4, and you've got your mobile radio in your car, because you're probably not going to talk that far on one of these little puppies. So you got your 35 watt, 40 watt, 50 watt, 70 watt radio. Hello, if it's for me, I'm not here. You've got your high power radio in your car, and you're sitting behind the steering wheel, you're parked, and you're waiting for net control to have you handle traffic. Well, not too much is happening. They don't need you yet. And you're sitting in the car, and you're sitting in the car, and you're sitting in the car, and you say, well, I need to go to the bathroom, or I want to get something to eat, or I'd like to just go chat with those people over there. So as soon as you get out of the car, you roll the windows down, and you walk over and you're talking to someone, and you're busy talking to them, and they're calling you on the radio, and you don't hear it. So when he says a range extender, I'm saying, how about a foot extender? Okay? Instead of having a leash that's as long as your arms, how about a leash that's as large as the campus of whatever that rest stop is? And what you do is you set up the radio in your car for cross-band operation. You set up your handheld to low power, so you're not going to, run your battery down. And now you can get out of the car and you can walk around and you can socialize. You can help them if they have, if you know about bikes, or you know about horseshoes, or you know about
Or how to slice watermelon. I've done that. Okay.
you can just be anywhere on that campus. And if net control calls you, you're going to hear them on your handheld. And you can talk back to them on your handheld. And chances of you running down the battery on this thing, even for 10 or 12 hours, running a half a watt is pretty remote. Hopefully you still have backup batteries. Larry, have you ever used crossband operations like that at deployments?
No, I haven't.
I
That's
use
why-
it
that's
all
why-
the time that way.
That's why I take Terry with me. When I go to the men's room, Terry's on the radio.
That's the way when I'm manning a rest stop as a rest stop, that's the way I always have done it. Is set up my vehicle some distance away where it's out of the way and talk to it. I talk to the vehicle with the half watt. And the other advantage is, you see, even Art, he's got his on his belt, and his antenna gets bent, you see? I hope you can see that.
No, it's not bent, it's conformed to my svelte body.
Okay, all right. And this way, you need a little itty bitty antenna that can talk out to the vehicle that's a couple hundred feet away.
And I want to emphasize the part that Bob touched on about PL. You need to make sure you use, the CTCSS, PL, subaudible tone, whatever you want to call it. You need to use it on both your handheld for transmit and receive, and on your mobile radio for transmit and receive. Don't choose 100 hertz. Don't choose 88 hertz.
Don't choose 127.3 hertz because somebody you never met before uses that as well.
I remember when that happened. You gummed up the whole repeater frequency. Choose something weird, something in the 150s, 160 range. That, something you've never heard anyone ever use a PL on the radio. Choose that PL pair and program that into your radio. I encourage Benicia residents to say, I want to borrow that Go Kit and take it home and use it for a month. And when you do, we'll show you how to make the crossband repeat operate. And you can experiment. You can run the net from your easy chair while the Go Kit is in the garage. And you can, talk back to the repeater. Don't hesitate to ask for it.
Okay.
Well, it even comes with an antenna.
Okay.
Now we know.
Okay. And I'm just receiving that from the other room. Okay. So that's it. Any other questions?
Two
Oh,
questions. One, 47 megahertz for the CHP in-car, is that 47 exactly?
No, and it depends. Okay, the 2 meter side of that is all the CHP in California has the 2 meter side. What I forgot.
154,905.
154,905. But various districts of the CHP will have a different 47 megahertz. So Sacramento CHP has 147 megahertz. Fairfield's Benicia CHP has a different 47 megahertz.
So,
But when if they go to a joint event, their crossband extender, they will talk back to their own car.
that's on an event, but if during normal duty hours, do each CHP officer use a separate?
Whatever frequency his primary radio is tuned to is connected to their crossband extender.